Dude.
We live.
We live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Twitch channel that is known as SwitchCore. If you all don't know us, I'm Jeremy, joined by the ever faithful Charlie.
Yep. How's it going?
Right now, we're just doing a test stream to kind of see how this I guess evolution to our podcast is going to go. So we're going to sit back, kind of chat, talk about things for a little while. You're paying attention to chat. I'll turn it on too. So if you guys have anything that you want to ask us, we are a Nintendo focused podcast, hence the name SwitchCore. Nintendo focused website, I should say, because it's kind of encompasses everything, right? So that being said, is there anything specific that you kind of wanted to talk about? We were talking about some stuff before we started streaming this out.
No, I mean, we can just kind of chat about whatever. I mean, a lot of stuff happened today, really. I mean, did you hear about the loot box thing?
This is the Battlefront thing.
Yeah.
I didn't read too much into it yet.
I mean, like
what's going on?
Last time I checked, so okay, just for reference, right? Until today, the most downvoted post in history on Reddit had like 24,000 downvotes, right?
Okay.
So EA decided to make a Reddit post. I think it's on an EA Reddit if I remember correctly. And the post was like essentially defending themselves, saying like, "Oh well, we think that what we're doing is really fair. We're listening to what people wanted. We've made it take approximately 40 hours to unlock a single character without paying, of course."
And how many characters are in the game? Like
a lot.
Dozens,
like
right?
for example, if you buy like the $90 version of the game, you don't even get Darth Vader. You have to play for like 40 hours so you can play as Darth Vader. It's like, what the fuck?
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I just saw something in chat. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. So, essentially what ended up happening, they made this Reddit post, and of course Reddit was pissed. And like last time I checked, oh, by the way, it says the stream title's not set.
For some reason, I couldn't figure it out. So
okay, whatever.
We've got some Twitch things to learn, but we'll figure it out.
Good job, Friction.
Listen, I'm always dropping the ball, so.
All right. Anyway, so basically, yeah, they got really, really pissed off. And as of last time I checked, it was like 360,000 downvotes.
That's ridiculous,
just like
dude.
Insane.
Well, it's like, do you remember last year when they released the Infinite Warfare trailer and it got downvoted on YouTube to oblivion?
Yeah, it's like the most like thumbs down video in history, but it still sold really well.
Right. I just think it's hilarious that, well, dude, so speaking of it doing well, like, I mean, well is like a relative term. Compared to the rest of the video game industry, it's sold well. Compared to other Call of Duty games, it did not.
Yeah.
Because in the first, EA looked at the first, Activision looked at the first 3 days of Call of Duty sales. And for some reason, some statistic that they always track. In the first 3 days, Call of Duty World War II sold twice as much, or generated twice as much revenue as Infinite Warfare did last year.
Yeah, you're talking about World War II? Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it was like they made $500 million in the first 3 days, which is ridiculous. But I mean, their marketing budget was probably like half of that anyway. So the way that they always market those games.
Yeah, I mean, God. It's like, oh hey, we paid for the air conditioning for the building.
Right, exactly.
Jesus,
we have like 1,000 people on each of those teams to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think it's 1,000, but it's probably.
Yeah, but it's a few hundred.
Oh yeah, probably 300.
You just see like the credits just scroll down, and it's just like, I don't know, minutes of just names and shit.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of companies that have, gotta be awful. Like I've worked at a company that had like a lot of people like that, and the way, like, for example, one of the most infamous places that does this is like IBM, right? And because they have thousands of people in those buildings. And when you sit in those cubicles, like there's so many cubicles in such a large area that it's hard to navigate and tell where you are. So the way you know is they have poles, like every couple of cubicles with like numbers and letters, like G4. It's like you're in a parking garage. It's terrifying. It's like, what?
It's like assigning numbers to their employees, and
Yeah.
like we're just a social security number to the federal government. That's what those people are to IBM.
Yeah, but like the conversations you'd have is like, hey, you want to come by? I need to ask you a question about this. It's like, oh yeah, where are you at? It's like, oh, I'm over in B7. It's like, what? Oh my god, it's ridiculous. Yeah, like working at those companies, man. And there was also a big backlash because I guess one guy on Twitter that works at EA decided, or specifically works on Battlefront, he decided to come out and defend the whole thing, which probably wasn't very smart.
Always the bad move.
Right. Now, that being said, so the reaction was he got, like, if I remember correctly, what he said was he got, like, 700 death threats.
Jesus.
And it's like...
No, it was 7 death threats, but 1,600, like, nasty comments.
That's what it was, yeah. It was, like, some ridiculous number. Regardless, it's not okay. And
no, not okay at all.
So, yeah, that is definitely not warranted, right? Like, that's screwed up, and that's literally just hurting our cause. Because now EA can basically turn around and just say, like, oh, well... the people that are talking, these are bad people that have this opinion. Good people don't care, right? They're gonna try and take the eyes off of the loot box controversy and turn it towards the SJW crowd of like, hey, these people are attacking game developers, and it's like, no, that's not okay, right? Yeah. That's totally not okay. But I don't know. The interesting thing about it is like. It's hard to have the conversation, right? Because no matter what you say like, yeah, you shouldn't be attacking this guy, but really loot boxes are stupid. They immediately go back to like, no, you're condoning this action. It's like, no. Like, what?
So I'm like reading a headline here from IGN posted 22 minutes ago. We have nothing but the most up-to-the-date news here. EA to reduce Star Wars Battlefront 2 hero cost by 75%.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
So,
and maybe the backlash will have an effect. I hope it does. But
I mean, we talk about this like every podcast. We always talk about loot boxes. We talk about microtransactions. And one of the things that like I've brought up a few times, not knowing a whole lot about it, but I like to talk about it because it's always I don't know, it's one of those things. But like you have a game, you have a franchise that's released yearly or every couple of years, like NBA 2K18.
Yeah.
And you expect the game to be a certain way. You expect the progression to be a certain way. But then when they start designing the game around microtransactions, and they make it more difficult to progress your character or whatever it might be, because they want you to buy like loot or like pay money in microtransactions to make it easier for you. Like we talk about, like that's where I have a problem, because I don't have a problem with loot boxes. I talk about Overwatch, I talk about Destiny, and I don't have a problem with those games because I like that they update the game for free, or whatever, free. We could do air quotes if we want to. But I enjoy like the map updates in Overwatch, the character updates in Overwatch. I enjoy the fact that, I mean, honestly, in Destiny, I don't know where the money for microtransaction goes, because they're not like doing events and stuff like they did towards the end of Destiny 1. And if you want like new multiplayer maps, or you want to play like new campaign missions, you're gonna have to buy the DLC with your money. So I kind of don't see where the money for Destiny's going. So maybe that's more of I don't know, just like an issue with the way that I view loot boxes. Like put that money towards something, like fund more development. I don't know. Give me stuff for free if you're gonna do this microtransaction stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's hard. Like yeah, there's definitely an argument that you can have about like the whole cosmetic thing, right? And we could fight about it at length. But I think once it gets to the point in which you are like literally devaluing the initial purchase of the game, you're making a mistake, right? Like if you're saying, oh, well, there's legit content you can't unlock. Like what? Like what if you bought Destiny and every raid was only accessible from a 1% loot box drop?
Yeah, I mean that would be garbage. Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd be so stupid. Like,
I mean that's like the best part of those games, you know.
Well, yeah, and the best part of Battlefront is being Darth Vader. That's like the whole point. Like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's
And the fact that you could spend almost $100 on a game to get like bonus shit, and for you not to have access to characters that are available that are like literally baked into the game at launch, that's gross, you know?
Yeah.
So I maybe that's not so different than Destiny 2 shaders. Like the shaders are there, you just have to get lucky and unlock them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can say the same thing about skins too. But I mean, this is different. This is a playable character, not a cosmetic thing. So
yeah, exactly. Once you get down to cosmetics, it gets weird. You know my opinion. I don't want loot boxes on literally anything. I don't care. I'll buy your skins, just don't make it a random drop.
See, you say I'll buy your skins if I like your skins enough. I say I like the idea of not having to pay for your skins, so I'll play the game to earn them. So.
Well, no. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I would much rather be able to play the game to earn them, right? But I guess what I'm saying is, you
don't want to earn it randomly.
Yeah, I don't want to earn it randomly. That's so stupid. Like if you want to make it a really rare, hard to get skin, fine. Like Overwatch has that, right? So in Overwatch, they have the golden guns, and you can't get that unless you're like really highly ranked, right? So I'm fine with that. Like I have no issue with that not being available to me. In fact, like if I were ever to play to the game and get to a skill level in which I earned that gold gun, that would be super rewarding to me specifically, because cosmetics like that mean a lot to me, right? Like if I can have a golden gun that I only can earn through being that good at the game, anytime you play against somebody that doesn't have that gun, guess what? It's like a weird, like, I mean, call it a power fantasy thing, but I mean, that's what it is, right? Like, it's the same reason you want the biggest sword you can get in the game. Like, why is Cloud's sword a 75-pound meat cleaver for dragons that, like, no one could physically lift? Like, because it's cool. Like, this.
I was gonna say, I hope you're not talking shit about Cloud's sword right now, because it's the
no. I mean, to be honest, if I had to talk shit about Final Fantasy VII, which I do all the time, the one thing I wouldn't talk shit about is the weapons, because they're cool. Yeah, like you got a dude with a minigun for an arm and a dude with
dude, Barrett is a badass.
Yeah, he's awesome. Best character, dude.
Yep, best character of all time.
Well, I mean, then you have, what do they call it? Kate Sith, that has like, it's like a freaking cat riding a weird white bear thing with like a, doesn't use like a horn? Like I don't
know. It's been so long. And to be honest, that game. I'm excited for that remake, dude. I don't know when Square Enix is going to give more details about it, but I can't wait to play me some like nice looking Final Fantasy VII.
It'll be cool. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to buy it because the amount of money they're going to ask for it.
Dude, it's going to be, what do they say, 4 episodes, 5 episodes?
It's supposed to be 4 parts, and you know for a fact they're going to charge $60 a piece.
It's going to be $60 a piece.
They might try and be good and be like, oh, it's only $50 a piece. It's like, okay.
Right. Yeah, you're still looking at a $200 investment, so.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. Like, if you can justify, like, if you're somehow, like, that game could be beaten realistically, like, 40 hours probably, if you're kind of just mainlining everything.
Wait, Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't remember. I have no idea.
Whatever it might be. But if you're giving me like a 30-hour or 20 or 30-hour experience, you're somehow spreading out that 40-hour mainline, like over those 4 games enough to give me a 30-hour experience per game, then yeah, sure. Like let's drop these for $50-$60. That's I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't know. And then there's also the problem that people have where it's like, well, one, I've already played the story. So that's not really going to hold you if you know that, right? Unless you're hyper invested in those characters, which of course there are people that like that. But then they're talking about removing the materia system. They're talking about changing the battle system entirely.
The materia system is probably the best part of those games.
Totally.
Best part of that game.
There's statements that have been made. I don't know if they're true or not, but there's statements that have been made about them potentially adding in an alternate route where Eris doesn't die. And it's like, what the hell? Like, you can't do that. Like, what?
No, like what? This is the game. Like the emotional draw to that game is all about that relationship.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like that's what gets you invested in Cloud's whiny ass. Like
you're right. If we're gonna talk about whiny ass Final Fantasy characters, let's talk about Titus.
Yeah. I think you mean Meg Ryan.
Oh, my bad.
He looks just like Meg Ryan, dude.
I love that haircut.
And like the weird, like like shorts that one is longer and also made of mesh. Like what? I don't know what that is.
So I have a question for you because I saw you talking about it a couple of days ago. It may have been in Discord chat, or maybe you and I were just talking.
Okay.
But you had brought up how you think it would be a good idea for Nintendo to adopt a achievement system for the Switch.
I mean,
I know we're completely sidetracking here, but
no, it's fine. I don't know if I'd say good idea. Like, okay, I think we've had discussions on the podcast about achievement systems before. I believe I can't remember. I know we've talked about it before, but I go back and forth between achievement systems, right? Because, in my opinion, the best achievement systems I've ever experienced were ones that were deliberately built into the game by the developer, right? Not some like, oh, I'm going to make a box pop up because you just got your first coin in the game. Congratulations. Here's a pat on the back for walking 3 feet, right? Like, who cares? The ones that I've always found to be really good are the ones where, like, you know, you get to the end of the game and there's, like, some character with all these weird things. Or it's even just, you look at your save file and you see everything you have. And then when you get to, like, 100%, it's like, just kidding, there's, like, 106% to actually unlock. And you can get, like, find the secret. It's, like, literally a secret achievement to, like, go over 100%. And Spyro the Dragon does this, where it's, like, it has, like, 106% unlock. And there's, like, special stuff you get at the end. Like that sort of stuff has like way more of an impact on me than just being like, I got the trophy on my account is another thing in a list.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also do see the benefits of having like an actual achievement system, right? Like with that there, you know, that helps attract people to your game. It makes you feel good to collect that and gives you an overarching like collection that you can share, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I was saying, like, well, there's also like game design qualms that a lot of people have with it, because like, what if, I guess the issue comes in when you have what Microsoft and PlayStation do, or Microsoft and Sony do, where they force you to have X number of achievements, right? Well, what if you don't want achievements in your game? What if as a game designer you're just quirky as shit and you don't want them in your game? Like, you should have the option to say hell no. And but these, as far as I know, last time I've checked, like, the only option you had was put them in your damn game or don't sell on our platform.
Right.
And it's like, I don't think that's a very good idea. Like, you're literally forcing game design decisions down the throat of somebody that is an artist. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But that being said, if you're talking about a situation in which achievements are optional, and they're tied into a system that, in my opinion, is not just like a list of things and that's it, then I think it could be really cool. Like, for example, and I think this is what you were talking about when we were having this discussion, where, like, I think they need to bring back something similar to Street Pass, right? And tie it into Miitomo, or essentially, like, utilize a lot of Miitomo to actually use a Mii, or maybe another character, but I mean, a Mii makes sense to me. And essentially, you have like a house or area you can decorate. You know, there's not an actual game involved. It's just like, instead of just having like a list of achievements, right? You can have like a little area to decorate. And within that area, everything that you get to decorate is only gathered by achievements. Maybe games have specific achievements, so you can only get, like, for example, if you want, you know, a statue of the Odyssey that like, or maybe it's like a little Odyssey that just kind of like floats around in your little house. Like, it could be like cool and dynamic, right? The only way to get it is the 100% Odyssey. It's the only way. There's no other way to get it. That's an achievement to me, because when somebody walks in the house, they go, "Holy crap, how'd you do that?" And you're like, "Well, I have 100% of the game. You didn't, so you don't have it." I think that's cool. That makes me want to buy the game for so many more reasons than just filling up a list. That being said, you could still pull up a list of your achievements, right, for people who want to have that checklist. That's fine to have. But I think if it's just a checklist, it's just pointless monotony. Like, I think it needs to translate to something. And you could even go as far as to say, like, okay, well, our achievements, whenever you get an achievement, you also get like credits for it, right? So a simple achievement of, like, you know, throw Mario's hat 5,000 times or 500 times, I think, because one of those is an achievement in Mario Odyssey. Like that, if you do that, it's just like, oh, you get 5 Nintendo coins or whatever the hell they're going to call them.
Yeah, dude, I want Nintendo coins.
I know, right? I want to collect Nintendo coins, and then those Nintendo coins you can use to spend on like non-exclusive customizations. Like, okay, hey, through Nintendo coins, I can go buy like a little Luigi statue that I can put in the corner, or I can buy this cool, like, I have a couch and I can put like mushroom power up throw pillows on it. Like, it's just whatever. I just want to customize my shit. That's just what I want. I want people to walk in and every single thing I have, I only have because of customizations, or these customizations I only have because of achievements. I think that would make me as a player like really, really want to complete stuff.
So what if, okay, this is kind of getting like PlayStation Home-esque in a way. Yeah. What if they had like an achievement system where instead of like getting points, you earn like stamps, okay? Like, I don't know, postage stamps sort of deals. Like, where just like a little, I don't know, like little square image, it's just a stamp. And you can like put these stamps on like, I don't know, like a postcard book or something that is like a virtual thing that you have in your game. It's an application that you can load up and you can look at your stamps or something.
Yeah.
But people can go into your stamp book and look at your stamps. Oh man, like he's got a lot of stamps. And like when you hover over one of these stamps, it'll tell you like, okay, what achievement that game was earned in, and like what the, unless it's like a secret achievement stamp, it would say like, okay, he collected 500 moons in Mario Odyssey, and that's how we got that stamp. So then like allowing other people to see like, oh, like I have this game, I don't have this stamp yet. But I mean, that's really no different than the achievement system. But like, what I want to see is like, I'm very competitive, right? So I want to be able to compare the amount of stamps I have, my score against other people. So if you,
totally,
like what you're talking about is like if you're like having this currency that you're then spending on like upgrades or something that you're putting in some room somewhere that people can look at. Am I spending those? Is it showing me how much I've spent? Do I still get to say like, okay, yeah, like I've bought all this stuff. I've only got like 20 coins now, but I've earned like 1,000.
Yeah. I think it should totally show like your overall achievements, right? Like this is the number of achievements you've gathered, or like the number of achievements you've completed. These are the achievements you've completed. This is the number of coins you've collected through those achievements. Here's your current coin total you haven't spent or allotted, right? Here's your room you can go in and see. But I mean, with the stamp things you're talking about, like it's a stamp book. Well, I mean, what if you could use those stamp books, or what if any stamp you collect, what if you can use that stamp in the picture taking mode in the games, right?
Okay, yeah.
So like, oh, I want to put a stamp of like, Mario, I don't know, in the little cloud puff form for Mario Odyssey, but I'm actually playing like Mario Kart. I want to throw it on my picture. Why not? Or like, I mean, hell, they could even go as crazy as like, well, that'd be kind of weird.
It's like I don't know. But Nintendo, you like here. We're giving you gold right now. Make a stamp achievement system.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Is like I guess when I think of Nintendo, I think of like they always have these weird polished little things. Like for example, the picture taking system in Mario Odyssey, right? They could have left it the same as anything else. And you hit the button, it takes a picture.
The thing is way better than it deserves to be.
Yeah, way better. Like it's insane. You know what game needs that shit? Rocket League. Holy crap. Let me get that 30-second replay of Rocket League, but like move the camera around in that shit.
Right.
If they could somehow make that work, like, because if you remember when Rocket League came out, there were GIFs everywhere, and that's what was marketing it. Dude, if you build it, like, I'm still surprised this day. Yeah, I'm still so surprised that to this day there's not a one button like GIF exporter.
Yeah.
Like, and that's pretty much what the Switch is, or what the Switch little like record feature is. So it's like I think Rocket League's gonna like take off because of that again. I think like those GIFs are gonna start popping up all over the place because it's a single button and you got a recording of it. It doesn't take up any space really because you hit the recording and it automatically just sends it off to Twitter. See, anyway, like, that's off topic, but I don't know, man. It's
for me like the way that I use achievements is like I'll play through the game. I'll play through the game the way that I want to play through the game. But achievements and like seeing that list of stuff that I can do and it's specifying like how like what I need to do, it just adds replayability.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about it.
I mean, yeah, I get it. Like I do get it. I just feel like if Nintendo is going to do achievements, they're not going to stop at a list, right? Like,
yeah, they're going to evolve it somehow.
Yeah, they're going to add something on top of it. Because it's just that's just not how they are. I mean, I'm happy about that. Like, I don't want like it. It's not that I have something inherently against the list system. I just think that only having the list system is lazy. Evolutionize? Did somebody say that?
I was halfway between saying evolve and revolutionize, and it started to come out as evolutionize. I don't know.
Gotta clip that out.
Yeah.
Make it a meme.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, this path that Nintendo's on, the fact that they expect to sell, 30 million consoles next year, I just want to know what... I mean, this is probably something we'll talk about on Wednesday a little bit more in depth, but I just wonder what that means for what games are coming out next year.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I mean, as I was saying earlier to you, like, I think at this point, based on that, they have to have something big they're dropping. And, like... Yeah. Not only something big, but something that they're really confident in. Which, I mean, when you think Nintendo, what is something that they know will sell units? We know for a fact is planned, and we know for a fact it, would sell the shit out of 30 million units, maybe.
Yeah, Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer too.
Oh, yeah, clearly. The game actually sold really well.
Did it really?
Yeah, Happy Home Designer sold like 4 million units.
Yeah, but no.
Happy Home Designer almost doubled the units sold of Bloodborne.
That's ridiculous.
Like, I love comparing things to Bloodborne because that blows my mind every time.
Yeah. But no, to take your question seriously, like the answer is Pokemon, obviously.
Yeah, like that. I know it sounds crazy. Like, I mean, but he did say we don't know if it's going to be next year, right?
Right.
And of course, Nintendo didn't say anything then. But I think now Nintendo knows they can. They know for a fact they can produce the units. At least they believe they can. And I'm guessing that they're way more confident because they wouldn't be saying they wouldn't be planning to make 30 million units of these things in a year if they didn't think they were going to see a return on that investment.
Yeah.
And if it was just new IPs and stuff, like I know they're doing a lot of those next year and they're doing a bunch of weird stuff, but if that's all they had, they wouldn't be risking that.
Yeah.
Nintendo's way too frugal to do that kind of stuff.
So, but, I mean, so to be fair, though, like, there are still people interested in Switch, like, that don't have Switches right now, that just want one just because they want a Switch, right? Like, maybe the catalog that they have that's available now, they're interested in or whatever. But we're at 6.8 million units, which is largely... being like hamstringed by the fact that they just haven't been able to push out as many as people want to buy.
Yeah.
But to ship 30 million, so we've done almost 7 million units in 9 months. To ship 30 million units in 12 months is Pokemon can't be responsible for that alone.
No.
So what other games?
Well, I mean. So, number one, you have to think about the fact that Zelda and Mario are going to continue to sell, right?
Yeah.
No matter what happens, everybody that buys a console, right, is going to continue to buy those. Is going to continue to buy those games, and it's like every time a new game comes out that looks good to somebody, they look at what games are on the console already, right? They go, well, I wasn't going to buy a Switch, but it's got the new Mario game that's like one of the best games ever made. It's got the new Breath of the Wild, which everyone's saying is one of the best games ever made. Which we all know I don't agree with that, but that's besides the point. It's got Mario Kart, which everyone's loving. I could play it on the go, and it's like now it's got a new Pokemon game and a new Metroid game, whatever game comes out, right? Every time a new game comes out, they look at the previous library and go, well, now I'm pushed over the edge, right? It's going to continually push people over the edge every time a new game comes out. And it's like, it can be the smallest thing, and I think it's slowly convincing people. Well, it's quickly convincing people, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not instant. But yeah, I mean, plus you got Fire Emblem coming out, which has a really, really strong like following. Animal Crossing is like ridiculously popular. Yeah. Especially in Japan.
So, I mean, is it possible that, I mean, we have the new Animal Crossing coming to mobile, at least stateside here in like a week or two, right?
Yeah, what's the end of the month? So, yeah, it's like a week or two.
Yeah. So, with that coming out, do we see an Animal Crossing like early next year? Maybe Nintendo just hasn't started talking about it yet. Like, you think like Q1, Q2?
I don't think Q1. I don't like. Well, I think the thing that's interesting is no matter what happens, they're likely going to release something in March, right? Because they're going to want to get a shit ton of sales at the very end. Because they don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, January is not going to be a big sales month for them. Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
It's not impossible.
Unless it's people like spending their gift cards from the holidays.
Yeah, but in February is usually pretty low too. March is when it starts to pick back up.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is your Q4 to be bad. And Q4 is, I mean, I guess technically Christmas Day is included in Q4. Maybe I
look at the way they've like spread games out this year. Like we had Zelda launch with the console. We had Mario Kart in April. We had ARMS, which is a new IP that was pretty successful for a new IP, given the like total install base of the system. And then we had like what else did we have after that? Like Fire Emblem Warriors just came out not too long ago. Mario Odyssey just came out a few weeks ago. So like, and everything was spread out. Like there was a month per, like a game per month, for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. So if you look at the way they've done things, and they like left Mario for like right before the holiday season, which they knew was going to be more than likely going to be a better seller than Zelda. Mario appeals to more people. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So for a game, I don't know, like, is it more likely if we get Metroid and Animal Crossing both next year, which is more likely that we get earlier, and which is more likely than that we get later?
Metroid and Animal Crossing?
Metroid and Animal Crossing. I know they're two completely different games.
Oh, Animal Crossing would be way before Metroid.
So
I don't think Metroid's happening next year, to be honest. I'd be awesome, but
if it did,
it'd be way late. It'd be like Christmas.
Okay, but you would think that Metroid would be a later game, more of a like holiday, like Christmas game, more so than Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying to like wrap my mind around like why Nintendo is so confident to be releasing this many units.
I think
single
Pokemon's going to be Christmas. So
you think like, I mean that right there will probably ship an additional. I mean, how much did Sun and Moon sell? Like 15 million between the two titles.
I want to say it was like 11 or something like that. But I think they had like insane hardware sales at the same time too. Yeah, Rift, let us know. What are you talking about?
But I don't like if Pokemon comes out next year, then like that's going to account probably for another, I don't know, 7-8 million Switch units by itself by people who don't already have Switches that are just like want to play the next Pokemon game.
Yeah, and to clarify, I'm not saying like it'll come out in November. I think, if I remember correctly, Pokemon usually comes out like September or October-ish, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming out later this month. And I think Sun and Moon came out. Was it September? I think it may have been November last year too. But historically, you're right. Like, I think normally earlier than November.
Regardless, it's in like the last quarter of the calendar year, right? It's like around that time. The thing about Animal Crossing that I'm curious about is like, I think realistically, if I were gonna bet, like, okay, the thing is Animal Crossing. I think normally I would say I would feel like it's like a summerish kind of game release.
Yeah, like July or something like that.
Yeah, but like what I'm trying to figure out is if you're Nintendo and you're going into your new year, right? What you want to do is you want to make sure you have a game that has good sales at the end of the year, and it'll follow the end of your fiscal year, and that will follow through into the beginning of your new year, right?
To give you a good start, right?
Yeah. And I mean, Pokemon would be a great candidate for that, but there's no way in hell it's done by then. It's just not going to happen.
No,
I don't. It would be dumb.
And not 4 months after they released another 3DS game.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's happening. So that's what I'm saying, like, I definitely don't think it's Pokemon, obviously. I definitely don't think it's Metroid. So it's like, what are you going to release right there? What are you going to release in your quarter 4 that's going to give you a good Q4? You don't want Nintendo to say, oh, we've been doing well, but our software sales were pretty bad Q4. Mm-hmm. Or they weren't anywhere near as good as everything else. And, you know, it's like, I feel like they want to drop something. And if it's like, I'm trying to think in my head, like, what could they drop that is realistic to be done, that would sell well, that would be a good addition and make them good money? And it's like Animal Crossing is the answer in my head. I can't think of another one. Like
or a new IP. I mean, we don't know. They're releasing new IPs.
Oh, we know for a fact they're releasing new IPs, right? But do they want to bet on a new IP to fill their quarter 4?
I want to see.
I don't think
I want to see an Overwatch style, like, Nintendo first person, like, objective-based shooter. Like, not with like Nintendo characters, but
that'd be awesome.
Their own characters, you know, like for this game. For this,
I mean, like they did a really good job designing the characters in ARMS. Like, despite what you think about that game as a game, like I think the character design was really good. I think most people agree with me, except for that stupid clown chick.
I think if they make like a game like that, like an Overwatch style game, they create we'll call it guns, right? Whatever,
guns.
Like arms. You got arms and you got guns.
There's actually a game called Guns Online. It's really bad. Don't ever play it.
But they create these characters in the same universe as the characters from ARMS. Then you could give like those characters like the same like aesthetic design language as you gave the characters from
I think it'd be weird. Like, what if they did that? What if they made like this like competitive tournament world where like there's just all these weird big sports that exist?
Yeah, Arctic League, we know like they've got Splatoon, but we're talking more of like a
excuse me.
I don't know, if you look at the world of like arena shooters and like class-based shooters, that's not Splatoon. I want a class-based I want a class-based shooter. That's what I'm more talking about.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I think regardless
they probably won't.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, I do think that they're going to release something like that this year. Like some sort of something that is very not Nintendo in the past. Like,
it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, like I really want that so bad. Like even if it's not even if it's a game that I generally don't gravitate towards, like I've said it a million times, but something like, you know, Uncharted, like a weird cinematic adventure game or something. That'd be pretty neat. I mean,
Link of Legends.
Link of Legends. Oh,
that would be awesome.
That's funny. But yeah, like, and that's the other thing is like, you know, you look at what if they make a first-person shooter? Like, what if we like legit got a dark, gritty, like muscly guy running around with a gun?
Yeah, dude.
That'd be weird.
That'd be weird. It would be really weird.
To be honest, what I'd rather have, I think I'd want a Nintendo FPS, like a more family-oriented Nintendo FPS. Not that I care about the family-oriented nature, but I just kind of want to know what that looks like.
Well, that's what I said. Like, if you use the same design language as they used in the ARMS characters, that would be charming and cute, and it doesn't have to be a mature game. Nintendo has changed the way people think about games, that you can make a game that appeals to everybody and still have it sell well. Like Call of Duty sells 10 million units a year. You know, Halo, every time it pops out every 3 or 4 years, will sell 10 million units to one console. Nintendo has sold like almost 5 million copies of Zelda, probably heading that way for Mario, and you're talking about games that like anybody can play, that don't involve swearing, that don't have like gratuitous amounts of blood. They just don't need it because their IPs like speak for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, and I've mentioned this too, like with Retro Studios, I think they're working on something that is like a mature game, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's like Nintendo's version of Life is Strange, like a weird story-based, like deep story game, right? Or like maybe it's like I don't know, maybe they're getting screwed over and they're making their own Ghost of Tsushima type game, like a weird open world samurai game where you just hack dudes in half. Like, who knows? Like, what if Nintendo just like screw over making Dark Souls? Like, Well, it'd technically be retro, right? But like, I think whatever game they're making, it could be really awesome. Like, what if you just get it's just a single player, like FPS, maybe not dark and gritty and bloody, but like a GoldenEye type game.
Yeah,
a very arcadey shooter. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that whatever we're doing in Metroid, I think that Metroid game is going to be a little different. I think it'd be cool to have like no pun or relation intended, but like a really visceral Metroid game. Like, you know, you charge up your Buster, or not Buster, like you charge up your arm cannon thing. I don't know, I can't think of the name of it right now. And you shoot a Metroid, and like the goo like explodes, and, like the goo splats on your visor. Like that'd be crazy. It's like, what the hell? You know, I don't know. I kind of want like a Metroid game with some scenes that are like out of an Alien movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like you walk in and like something scurries across, then you see like a light flickering, and it like falls down and starts swinging and scares the shit out of you. Like, I don't necessarily want a horror game, but like a game that just has some elements in it that kind of take it to the next level, you know?
So you kind of want Metroid to. I mean, Metroid is kind of like in that in between space where, I mean, it's a T. I think like Metroid Prime 3 was a T-rated game.
You can find out.
I mean, you don't want it to go mature, but I mean, maybe.
I mean, I'd be fine with it, honestly.
Metroid probably would be
the best,
like probably the best IP that Nintendo has to do it with. And not to say that like we think it would be better because it's an M-rated game, but like there's elements that me as a 29-year-old dude, like that stuff doesn't bother me, and like I don't have my mom or dad telling me I can't play that game because, you know, it's graphic or whatever.
So every single game with the Metroid Prime name, other than Metroid Prime Pinball, which I didn't even know existed, everything else is teen.
Teen, okay.
Everything is teen, yeah. Prime, Prime 2, Hunters, Corruption, and Federation Force are all teen.
Okay. Federation Force was teen as well, huh?
Yeah.
That's
according to the ESRB's website. I don't know, I just think it's an interesting thought, like, don't get me wrong, like, I definitely do want Metroid to go that way, but I think what I'm super interested in is, like, I want Nintendo to just look at retro and just say, like, hey, we want you to be our studio that makes our more mature games that appeal to the non-standard Nintendo audience, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely the standard Nintendo audience, and I'd still buy that game, but, like, a game that can kind of help bring in other people, kind of fill in the gaps that they have. And I think retro would do a really good job with it. Oh no!
And if that's like the general focus, where they're focusing on, you know, Nintendo's mature rated games, that would be different than, say, like a developer like Sledgehammer or Treyarch or Infinity Ward, just to name a couple of Activision developers, where they're literally developing the same game every like all the time, just on a 3-year cycle, right?
Yeah.
Like, Nintendo doesn't operate that way. They can release a game once a generation, but if they're giving retro like 3 years to make a game, then they could theoretically like develop different IPs or create a new IP and it just fall under that Nintendo umbrella. They don't have to they don't have to be the Metroid developer. They be the mature developer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think it's interesting too that I think it says something that they're not the ones making Metroid Prime 4. Like, what the hell are they working on? Because
I want to know.
Like, I mean, I think I've talked to you about this in the past, but like retro, like really owes a lot. Well, owes all of its existence to Nintendo.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like, they got in a lot of trouble with Miyamoto and Nintendo when they first like started working for them, because what ended up happening was that the CEO of the company at the time, took a whole bunch of, like, all the money that Nintendo gave them to work on their game at the time. I forget the name. It's called, like, some sort of, like, dark game. I forget what it's called. I can look it up later. But took all the money and spent it on girls, a jacuzzi in the middle of an office, and crack.
What the hell? Okay.
And, like, literally, like, an actual jacuzzi in the middle of an office, snorting crack and having hookers there. And Nintendo found out. and they were not happy.
I wouldn't be happy either.
Oh man, they were pissed. Yeah, they
like, you guys are paying me back. Like, I would have been like, you guys are paying us back, and then we're no longer doing business with you.
Yeah. So what happened was, Miyamoto apparently went down himself, and fired the guy. Told the whole studio, cancel every one of your projects. All your projects are gone. You are making Metroid Prime 4. You have 2 years from right now. We are putting cameras in your office. This place is getting locked the hell down, and you're releasing this game. If it doesn't go well, you're all out of jobs.
Damn.
So they all buckled down. They made Metroid Prime, which is like one of the best shooters ever made, according to a lot of people. Right? It's like a really, really highly regarded game. Nintendo cracked the whip like crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I mean, and that studio's gone on to just do more and more, right? They made all the Metroid games, all the Donkey Kong games have all released to really high praise that they've made. I think at this point now, they've built trust back with Nintendo. I think the fact that they were in that state and Nintendo had to lock them down, and then Nintendo slowly has like released the reins over the years and like given them power. I think that studio needed to get the whip cracked a couple times, and like now they're built up to a point where they're a really solid studio, right? Mm-hmm. They clearly had good talent there,
right?
So it's really interesting. Which another interesting piece of trivia about that character, or about the character, the CEO. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game called the Guy Game. It's a really well-known game for being one of the worst video games ever made. Like think of Girls Gone Wild, right? Like everyone knows what that is. It's that, but a trivia game where they ask you questions. Half the answers to the questions are wrong, but if you answer what they believe is the right answer, then you get to see a girl declothed, right? That is your reward. That's the only reward you get in the game. There's no points. It's just that. And that the guy that made that game is the CEO, the old CEO of Retro. And he got in trouble again because a few of the girls they used were underage.
Oh, Jesus.
They weren't like super underage. They were like 17, 16, but it's still very illegal.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like, yeah, that doesn't, no.
How do you mess that up, really? So, anyway, that studio obviously no longer exists, and that guy's been laughed off the face of the industry. But, yeah, and all this information, this comes like straight from like some guys that covered it when they were at IGN and stuff back in the day. Like this all, like there are articles, you can go back and find the articles like literally saying what I'm saying right now. It's super interesting to go back and look at some of the stuff that happened back then. The games industry was really different in the early 2000s. There was some weird shit going on.
Yeah. It's like you would think you'd have your ducks in a row and have proper paperwork for your actresses to ensure that, you're not going to get on like
actresses, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Also known as Girl on Beach. Oh man. Oh. No, it was a really crazy time. And those stories from like the 2000s are crazy. But yeah, man, I don't know. I want to see what all these new games are that Nintendo has. I want a Wave Race game. That's what I want. Give me a Wave Race game.
Wave Race would be all right.
I want like an online Wave Race.
And what do you think like a Wave Race game nowadays releases? I mean, that's a $20-$30 game at this point, right?
Nah, dude. No. Make me a $60 Wave Race game.
No, dude. Nobody would buy a $60 Wave Race game.
Here's what you're getting wrong. I'm not saying make Wave Race Ultimate for $60. I'm saying make a Wave Race game that is so good it's worth $60.
That's worth $60.
Yeah,
I don't know that
you can that game.
You got games like Fast RMX and like
bullcrap. Here's what you do. You just make a Wave Race game, but call it Waifu Race, and it's just all the Nintendo characters in bikinis on Wave Riders racing. It would sell so much.
Yeah, now $60 isn't enough. That's got to be at least like a $90 game.
Well, no, you got to buy the bikini amiibo to unlock every character in the game.
Oh, right.
That's how it works. I'm pretty sure half of our Discord community would buy the game immediately. Waifus. They pre-order every amiibo.
The title of this podcast is Unlockable Waifus.
See, they're already agreeing with me. You know it'd sell, dude. I mean, look at.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it would sell so well.
Look at all of those. All of those. What do you call it? Like visual novels on Steam. So.
I mean, we're about to get those on the Switch. You know that, right? Yeah, all the like Senran and Kagura and everything are all coming to the Switch. The developer of the new one actually said that he loved the Joy-Con because he found a way to elicit the feeling of softness.
Okay.
Know what that means?
With the Joy-Con?
Yeah. He claims that like you can feel softness.
I want to feel the softness.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh wow. All right then. Okay." Yeah, it's dude, they're gonna make so much damn money. It's ridiculous.
I just want to know how much of a pervert that guy is.
I mean,
he's got to be, right?
I mean, yeah, but you would be too in that environment where you work so hard, you never get to see your wife and everything. I think that's why you get a lot of that, right?
Yeah. Maybe that.
Where's Xeno? Yeah.
Maybe that's what was going on with the guy game guy.
Yeah, maybe. I highly doubt if you had a wife that they're still together. I'll tell you that much.
All right. Well, this was just supposed to be a test. This turned into a whole big thing.
That's fine. Content is content, man.
That's right. All right. Well, let's realistically for 2018. Before we duck out of here, because I do have some stuff that I got to get to. What do you think is a realistic lineup of Nintendo first-party IPs that we see?
I mean, stuff that we actually know about, like.
This
goes back to something I think you said earlier, and I think is a good point. You know, I was talking about like what do you drop in Q4 to like, or in Q4 to actually get sales.
Right.
It could be a 2D Mario game.
I mean, like, are we talking straight up 2D Mario, like Super Mario World, or are we talking like Mario 3D World, or sorry?
Well,
Mario
no, I mean, like,
whatever.
I don't know. I mean, they could do like a. I don't think they do a 3D World because that's actually a little more work. But like, maybe they go with like Mario, like a Mario Bros. Wii U kind of thing.
Okay,
but at the same time, I mean, I almost feel like whatever Nintendo does that's going to be 2D with Mario is going to be a Mario Maker game.
I think a Mario Maker game on Switch would make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I think everyone would agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because other than adding like some more assets into that game for people to create shit with, like. That game doesn't have to be a whole lot different for it to sell. It probably does. They could probably legitimately port what they have now on the Switch, and it would sell as well, if not. I mean, probably better than it did on the Wii U because of just the amount of people that bought the Wii U was not very great.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely features they can add, like slopes.
Like slopes.
No, it's a common thing because you have. Super Mario World assets, right? But you don't have the angled slopes, which is a lot of Mario World. So it's like, well, it looks like it, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things they can still add, definitely. But I mean, that'd be great. I love Mario Maker. It'd be fun to make levels and share it with everybody here.
I mean, now that Miiverse is gone, there's not really a way to share levels in the Wii U version of the game.
Yeah.
Can you still upload?
Yeah,
your level.
Yeah, so
and you just give away your like level code or whatever.
Yeah, basically you can upload it and you can give away the level code. The difference is people cannot find your code, right?
Okay. So you legitimately have to give it to them, or
you have to,
be relatively popular on Twitter or something like that to give out your code.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stinks. But I don't know if they are somehow able to like bake that sharing your level system into the game. Where they don't need Miiverse for that stuff to work. Like Mario Maker, I think would be a great value on the. I mean, whatever. Like the last game released for $60. Like that's a $60 game that people will pay money for again. Like I know I would.
Yeah, dude.
I don't even like. I don't really make levels. I just want to play some fucking levels, man.
Yeah, like when Mario Maker came out, I made a really cool level called Super Mario: A Pipe to the Past.
Okay.
And the reason why is like you get the Link costume, and then I use a bunch of copies of the same little level bits, and I had, if you remember, there was like you could have basically above ground and a below ground area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I made it so that you start in the below ground area. It looks all like dark and decrepit, and then you could go through a pipe, and then it will take you to an exact clone of that level, but in the nice, pretty area with some minor differences. And so what all this ended up doing is, like, for example, it would be like, okay, here's a block, and you need to get up here, but you literally can't climb up there. But you go through a pipe, you end up in the past. Then in the past, or you in the nice area, right? But that's supposed to be the past. And in the past, that block that is there is now a block you can actually hit. You hit it, and like a piranha plant comes out, right? Then when you go back in the pipe, or when you go up, you have to you climb up the thing you just opened. You hit a button, and that unlocks another pipe. You go down the pipe. That sends you to, again, another clone of that, and it's the same original area in the present that you couldn't climb up, but now because you went back in the past and you made the vine show up, that vine is there. So what it actually does, it makes it feel like you're going back in the past, making a change, going back in the present, and using that to progress forward, right? It was a really cool level that I made, and I was really proud of it. Yeah. And I shared it, and people really liked it. And right before Meeburst closed down, I was actually watching a live stream with Kyle Bossman, and he was like, hey, any of our patrons that are in here, send me your level codes. And I have to be a patron, so I sent him a level code. And like, I watched him play my level. And he was like going through and commenting on it, and it was really, really cool. It was like super rewarding. I was like, this is like, it made me so sad that this is shutting down, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I want to make more levels now. Like, I wish I had my Wii U right now. I'd make levels, but I wanted to come back. Like, the ability to just like, I'm a definitely big game design person, so the ability to be out in, you know, a doctor's office and make some levels and like upload stuff would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, the collaborative experience you could get with that would be great.
Especially if they made it more collaborative, like they did with the 3DS version of that game.
Yeah.
They like, you could, like, you know, help your friend edit their level. So
yeah.
I think we get Mario Maker this next year. Now that you're talking about it, I think we get Mario Maker like
that'd be cool.
Summer 2018.
Maybe I don't know, man. Like, that's the thing is, like, maybe I think we get some sort of 2D version of Mario that's not a big open 3D world, right?
Like the way I look at Mario, if you look at it like the popular games, you've got your 3D games and you've got your actual like 2D platforming games. So think of like Mario 64 and Super Mario World. Mm-hmm. Like, those are your two Marios. Like, then you've got like your offshoots like 3D World and 3D Land and stuff like that. And that's just like this weird hybrid that I really don't care for them. Like, I enjoy the games, but that's not what I want to play.
Yeah.
I would prefer to play one of the other two. I think Nintendo, if they're smart, they do like one of each of those games per console generation.
Yeah. No, me too.
Like, so like right now, like you got Mario Odyssey in the first year. 2 or 3 years down the road, you give us a Mario World style game. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So maybe not we might not get Super Mario World 3 next year, but I'd be okay with Mario Maker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, awesome. Like, I don't know, man. You got to think, like, I mean, you're already talking about Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. Potentially Pokemon. Yeah. Very, very, very unlikely, but maybe tiny chance of a Metroid game happening.
Yeah.
Definitely Animal Crossing. In my opinion, at least. I mean, I feel we're going to see Retro Studios' new game. We're at least going to see it next year. I'd go as far as to say I think we're going to see it in January, hopefully, but we'll find out.
And you think that's a new IP? I think it's a new IP. So
yeah, me too. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's more to this, and I don't have a list in front of me.
I know this isn't going to happen in 2018, but I kind of want a Skyward Sword remake. I know we talk about remakes a lot, and how we would rather have new games than have like remakes. But if they're going to pour a year of limited resources into a game so we can have a game quickly. I think Skyward Sword with actual good motion controls, and the fact that story is that good, I would play through that game again. Yeah, and I just played through it earlier this year.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we do know that Grezzo's making a new game. You know about that, right?
I did not know.
Yeah, Grezzo's making a new game, and they're hiring. They're hiring. What in the world?
Oh, villain.
Oh, sorry. That is a tab making audio. Yeah. So they put a thing up, advertising specifically for I guess needing artists to help build the next legend.
Okay.
And the last time they said something about like building a legend was the Twilight Princess remake. It doesn't necessarily mean that, right?
No, but you're making me smile real big.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, it could be anything. But we could also end up with a Phantom Hourglass port and everyone will cry. So we have no idea. I mean, for all the Zelda games, they chose to remake Twilight Princess. So who knows what garbage they're going to remake next?
Hey, man. That was a great game.
No, I mean, Skyward Sword, I guess, the only thing I'm curious about is there's a lot of the, like, pointing and aiming in that game. And all the implementations that have used the Joy-Cons that do that are really crappy. Like, they're way worse than the Wiimote.
I don't know. Like, they're...
I mean,
so the Wiimote had, like, the IR blaster, right?
Yeah.
Like, it had, like, actual infrared, like, beams or whatever that it was receiving into the controller. But if you look at the way Skyward Sword used its motion controls, you would point at the IR, at the sensor bar to kind of get a sense of where your controller was. But after, like, it kind of synced itself, it didn't use that anymore. It used the actual, like, accelerometers, gyrometers in the controller to determine, like, how you were aiming, where your sword was, all that stuff. So, are you saying that it seems like the accelerometer and gyrometers in the Joy-Con are worse than the Wii remote?
No. So, for example, when you are, like, when you're on the Joy-Con, when you're actually aiming the bow, or when you are, when you're dowsing, or anything that is you pointing at the screen, that is 99% IR at that point, right? So not having that IR sensor with, like, the actual, what the hell they call it, sensor bar, also known as two, infrared LEDs with a battery on them, basically. Without that, you're going to have a lot of, like, way less performance, right? Because you're relying on purely gyro, which the gyro accelerometer in the Joy-Con is way better.
So that's what I mean. Like,
the swinging, it depends. It depends on how they did it, but the swinging would probably be better. The one thing that would probably work way better, hopefully, is the whole, like, Skyward Strike thing.
Yeah,
because that thing didn't work at all. But
dude,
the thing that I wonder about is how well that game sold. I guess it really doesn't matter. They're probably going to remake it anyway. But I'm just wondering if there's other games they could remake instead of that.
I don't know, man.
They remade pretty much everything else.
I just played that game like 9 months ago. I want to play it again. That story in that game is, in my opinion, the best story in any Zelda game. I mean, I'll stick by that for, like, the rest of my life, unless they make a better game in story, because it sure as hell wasn't Breath of the Wild.
I mean,
as far as story
goes. There.
So, all right. Well, I probably should get running. So you want to shut this thing down?
Yeah.
All right. No, the ending was fine, Susan. We'll be back on Wednesday, though. We're gonna actually do a proper podcast. Make sure all you people talk some sense into Drew and Scott and let them know that this is the preferred way for you to consume this podcast, right? Talk some sense into them. If you guys haven't done so already, head over to our website, SwitchCore.net, and you can find a link to our Discord server if you're not already there. And it'll be Wednesday at 8 p.m., right? And I was surprised at how fast you got everything set up tonight. So I mean, you were ready to go. I wasn't. I fucked up even just naming the title to the stream. So
it's alright.
Yeah.
I played sound. It's fine.
You played a sound.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd also say you can also follow us on Twitch. I'm actually going to probably Twitch stream some Link to the Past randomizer runs directly after this. So
Yeah, there you guys go. I mean, you got his Twitch stream right there. You can follow me if you want. I'll start doing this sometime soon.
Yeah.
So
hey, man,
all right, we'll see.
Do it.
See you guys Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. See you later. Bye.